Welcome back to Hacker Hangouts on a Saturday morning. We are days away from Defcon, and I am pumped, and I am most definitely planning. The thumbnail was going to be that one with the Muppet, or the one who's kind of like looking to the side and then looking over, and it was going to be Gator planning for Defcon, me recognizing I have zero plans whatsoever made so far. It is... you think we have planning, but like, oh gosh, every year it gets here before I'm even ready for it. And even just to demonstrate this, the thumbnail. So some thumbnails I'll make myself. Most of the thumbnails are made by Mark, and he's amazing, like absolutely, utterly amazing. In like a couple weeks, I'll give him like the general idea for the stream. Like we're going to be doing planning. Here's what we're talking about. Like come up with like a concept. Like, oh, we'll be all over a map, or we'll be this. This time, I'm like, I want to talk about Defcon because I love Defcon, and it's that time of year again. It's going to be Gator and Gourry. Go. And he's like, don't worry. I got this. And he disappears for an hour, having no direction from me. And I get one message which just says, I'm sorry. And then 2 seconds later, I just get my face as this giant orb thing. Like, let me throw this on screen, and it's probably going to script the entire thing. There we go. Like, this thing, this utterly ridiculous. Also, I love how hairy Gourry's arm is. That's just awesome.
But I just get this. Me, actually.
I'm sorry. Yeah, by the way, that's actually Gourry's body this time, not just his face posted on someone else.
Gator's body is also my body.
I'm going to throw this back up there. Can we just take a moment and recognize that this face of yours is the same face on every thumbnail we've ever done? Like, I don't know if any watcher has noticed this. It is the most versatile face. Oh yeah, it works on everything.
It's amazing. Hacker faces.
Have you guys seen this orb thing, by the way? Like, I thought this was a joke at first. Like, I actually thought this was like a meme, like not an like Vegas did a Vegas thing, and there's this giant screen. I thought it was like a Defcon joke. Like, it has nothing to do with Defcon. This is a thing. Have you seen this?
It will.
Here, let me show
It's pretty awesome. So it's called the Sphere. It's actually at the Venetian Resort now. So it's been being made for a little bit. There's cool things like basketballs, eyeballs, moon, whatever else. And I'll jump into some of the technical specs of this thing, but it was being built during COVID, right? So let's see. There's like 81,300 square meters of outdoor surface area. 54 square meters are equipped with the LEDs that create the world's largest LED wall. It became the largest building in the world, encompassing, this largest spherical building in the world, surpassing the Avinci Arena. It's going to be like a block and a half away from us. It's like right behind the Caesars Forum, which is going to be absolutely crazy. And the fun part is, while it took some time for it to go through and build, they also said that the screen is unhackable. So, I mean
it has to be closed loop. It has to be closed.
I would hope so.
Of course it is. It's those giant street signs, like they wheel out on wheels out to the side of highways, right? And then if you break open a lock, you can program it. But if you don't break open a lock, there's no like wireless access. It's basically one of those, right? Like there's some control room somewhere with a wire that goes out and says what to put on the sphere, right? Like, of course it's unhackable.
I've definitely seen some people posting like the blue screen of death over it, which is just like that would actually be, if they wanted to do like a giant marketing ploy, was during Defcon, just blue screen it, and it would make national news just off the bat. Just like, no, we've been hacked. Just kidding, publicity stunt. But that would be probably amazing. But like, this thing, I saw this, and either way, back to the thumbnail. I thought this was it was just like, I'm sorry. Here's the thumbnail. And it was like, no changes. This is perfect. This is amazing. But Defcon. All right, we're like 5 days away, 3 days away. I don't know. I leave on Wednesday, so it is going to be here before I even realize it. There's so much going on. There's like badges to figure out. There's the Exhibitors Hall, which the more information has come out on that, and I'm actually really interested in the last person who's going to be there, and it's just amazing. Actually, do you guys want to jump into the Exhibitors Hall, or is there something else you want to jump into first?
Let's jump there first.
I'm in.
So
Prove me wrong. I said just on prior streams I said I'm very worried about the Exhibitors Hall. I hope it doesn't turn out like other conference exhibitor halls because those tend to gross me out. So please prove me wrong, Daddy.
And I said something similar, but I know like there's certain ones which I had a guess that would make sense there because like UAT, University of Advancing Technology's long-term presence at Defcon has always been in like the vendor hall, and they give away, by the way, secret hint for anyone who's looking for free snacks, instead of buying a $5 apple at like the Caesars Forum like food thing. UAT usually gives away free apples. I think they stopped during COVID, but I'm guessing they're going to do it again this year for bad apples because their university is there for bad apples. So you can always go up and get a free apple, which is great because it's like a $5 apple. Let's go in. But they made sense. So sharing this out, I'm amazed. I'm so happy this works because this definitely was not thrown together last minute. Capital Technical University, they might have been here previously. I'm not sure. Hack the Box. This is actually really cool because I know they've had presence at DEF CON before, but this makes sense as a vendor hall. This one doesn't feel slimy to me, which is great because like this is, in my mind, a good spot for them to talk about their new things. I'm hoping they hand out like free month subscriptions. I think this is a cool one. University of Advancing Technology makes sense. I think these are cool. These are university ones. I'm not seeing any like not Red Hat, but like, you know, Rapid7 or Sonos or CrowdStrike, which is kind of cool. Ascent Portal. I think this is, I don't know what this is.
Ascent Portal?
Yeah, I'm guessing this one is more governance, security, compliance preference. This is now more like a sales thing, it feels like. I don't know what they do. Let's click on a random link. Why wouldn't we do that?
And it's better than scanning a random QR code, right, Silk?
Yeah. It's a platform. It's a platform for compliance.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is the stuff again. Not a sponsor, but like these are the ones where if you get too many of these, it's kind of gross.
Right. Now, Black Hills Information, folks, I've talked about all the time. They're very open source loving. They're constantly giving back to the community to where while they're also a pen testing company, they're one of the smaller ones who have gone through and say, hey, we're not trying to keep things proprietary and behind the closed door. So here's how we do X, and here's the webinar on how to be able to secure your environment. Oh, you don't have any money? Cool. Here's the free tool to go use it as well. So
how much did literally they pay you to say that?
Sure. No, if I wasn't working for who I'm working, these are the guys that I would want to go work for because they're just that freaking awesome.
No,
so I definitely go check out their booth.
I'll give them credit on that one too. Is they're a consulting shop similar to ours. I mean, they probably have some overlap, but the thing I really like about them is their team's big enough, it seems, where more often than not, if you're like the one I ran against was, I don't know, this is a couple of years ago. It was an escalation within like the forest within an AD environment. And the thing I was looking for was there was an issue with a PowerShell script, and they had like a little blog post, which was like, here's how we fix this. And that was kind of, it's really cool. Just like there'd be that and Core, was it not Core Impact, Core Intel? One of those teams is another one who does a lot of this.
AC Hunter. They do AC Hunter as their commercial side.
Yep. Lacework, I don't know. This data-driven security platform, AI blockchain. Okay, they didn't say that, but it starts sounding very similar. Security platform in the cloud, vendor. OpenVPN. That's kind of an odd one.
Defcon, sponsored by OpenVPN.
Yeah, I'm hiding the
you
last
are unsafe one. You are unsafe while browsing the internet. Make sure you get OpenVPN.
Gosh.
OpenVPN's there, which is a lot of stuff is still based on, right? Compared to WireGuard, which a lot of people switched over to, and now it's finally built into the kernel. So when you're talking about like your Nords or whatever else, a lot of them are just built on top of OpenVPN, right?
I know. Actually, I joke, but like OpenVPN doesn't bother me because it's freaking free unless you're a business and you have the open source model. They're great.
quick question. Right? Before I show the last one, which is the one I'm so curious to hear you guys' opinion on. But before I show the last one, what would be the worst vendor to ever see in here? And I'm going to hijack one idea, which is NordVPN. That would be the worst exhibitor to have there.
Let's see, the actual worst exhibitor. Go ahead, Gator. I got to think.
Oh, I get another one.
I'm biased, but well, if we're talking about specifically on the security side, I don't know, Facebook. Man. There's a couple ones that pop up. But you're thinking Facebook?
Another Twitter. VPN I'm sorry, X.
Oh yeah.
Open Seas, some NFT blockchain thing. I think. Oh gosh. Yeah, some crypto bros.
Please tell me it's Defcoin.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Right. On that way, would that be like another type of coin, a Monero coin or something else? I don't know.
I feel like at least that one you can make a case for on something like that. Right. Pretty much any VPN which constantly is cutting in the videos. I know. Oh, wife. Oh, that
LastPass.
Oh, LastPass. I don't think fired. Definitely Rip. Shots fired.
All right, get any password manager is better than no password manager. So get something. What is this last one? So you teased me enough.
Before I show this one, I'm going to introduce with the advertisement of Defcon 31. Thousands upon tens of thousands of hackers travel there through airports, through bus stations. But those who do go through Defcon and go through and fly typically opt out of typical security, and they go and enjoy the TSA's Freedom Fondle.
Yes. That's amazing.
Like,
I think that might actually be the best possible sponsor. Other than the NSA, obviously, that would be hilarious. But the TSA, I feel like, is even better.
Like,
so I hope they just have like stickers that say security theater and then just leave it, right? Just walk away, lean into it full tilt.
Like, no, they bring the scanning booths.
Oh no! Like, could you imagine just like oh gosh, how many people what can you get through the scanning booth, and then you can opt out and get the Freedom Fondle and see which one finds more.
Oh man,
I am gonna be immeasurably disappointed if that's not what is in their booth. I am dead serious. I'm gonna be my disappointment will be immeasurable if they do not have a body scanner and doing that in their booth. I will be very sad, and that will be a waste of a room. Like honestly, if they were gonna do that, cancel all the other exhibitors, just have the TSA in that one room full of all of their stuff, and it would be the greatest CTF in the history of DEF CON.
Oh,
no kidding.
Gosh. I'm just wondering, like, how, like, if you read through this, the last sentence, attend DEF CON to learn more about how the TSA is working differently in an effort to achieve better outcomes. Come to our booth for more about the TSA in the future of cybersecurity and transportation. Like, oh gosh, they do have the ability to make this incredible. But this was an idea that someone had and thought it was a good idea.
I can hear the synergy from here.
Collaborative innovation. Speaking of which,
it's just the radiation leaking off their machines. It's fine.
I need to make synergy. I need to make. Speaking of which, I need to make a note for myself. I don't know if they've opened up the list for whose slide is it anyway. This has been a goal of mine, but I always miss it. This year, I want to do whose slide is it anyway. Synergistically collaborate for an experience that all involved can come together. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to go off on those rants for whose slide is it anyway. But
right.
That's it. That's all the exhibitors who are coming in for this. For the exhibitors, it's not a lot. It's not going to be a big room. I mean, kind of looking at this Caesars Forum. Where was this? I remember seeing it in the vendors area.
Yeah, wasn't it like the little room right before the vendor? So we're thinking like it's going to be a funnel going into the vendor area.
Exhibitors, here it is. It's in here.
Okay.
Zoom in. It's at the Chill Out Lounge. Sure, it's small. Because if you look at like speakers up, green room, it's like a little small chunk of the aerospace village. It's pretty big, but like if you remember the demo labs, those 3 rooms were not that big. It looks like it's about the same. So it's not that big. Okay. Yeah, it's coming. All right. What else do we got here? So that's the exhibitors. There's not that many. TSA is just like, when I saw that, I was like, that is yikes.
I mean, are you going to be able to sign up for Clear or whatever your passes are? And like everybody's like, oh, let me just fill out this form and hand it to you at Defcon so that I can go through the TSA faster or the Clear faster or whatever else.
Gosh.
That should be just funny.
As a random caveat, I did get the TSA pre-check thing. It's good for like 5 years, and it was like $50 or something like that. The cool thing is, I didn't realize this. You can do it like Staples, or Office Max, or one of these. You don't need. It used to be you'd go and get an interview, like for global entry, you still have to do the interview, or you had to go to the airport. This was so nice, and I will say, oh my gosh, it makes travel so much easier. Like you don't have to go through to the arms pull. And for me, I always travel with a laptop and a bunch of hardware, so it was nice just to be able to not have to pull that stuff out. Yeah, Chad, you agree? It's TSA pre-check, so worth it. And it's, again, last 5 years, then you renew it online. All right, let's jump into. I want to jump into badges. This is kind of like in the spirit of continually sharing things out. Garrett over at Hacker Warehouse just put this up. Let's see if I can share this on out of presentation mode. There's no way this works. Oh my gosh, it works.
Oh, it works? What?
Yeah, so I want to go through a couple of these. This is not all badges. Oh gosh, it's definitely glitching. Hold on. Let's go. There's a huge list of badges. Like, this is the thing Gator shared out. Oh, it's not going to let me zoom. Here we go. Zoom 200%. Kind of. There's so many badges here. We're not going through them all.
Nope.
Honorable mentions. Here's a couple honorable mentions. Oh my gosh. Is there really?
Honorable mention. The Defcon badge.
Yeah. 91 badges. 91 badges? That is...
Absolutely.
How many of them are you getting, Gator?
So I'm not going crazy this year. I did secure my Defcon furs. I've got 1 or 2 others that I'm picking up at the con, and then depending on the availability thereafter. But I want to make sure I get one of the 2023 e-challenge coins. So that's the second one I'll go through and get. I will say the Pit Boy from the Red Team Village looks pretty cool, but we'll see.
Okay.
So only a handful this year. I need to add a couple to the badge wall, but not going crazy.
All right, let's see if I can get Garrett's list on up here. And hopefully it won't break. Presentation mode. All right. Make It Hacking. Oh, and Make It Hacking's watching the stream. I love this badge, and I think, one, it's so reasonably priced. Everything at Defcon's so freaking expensive. I'm actually pretty happy with the price of this one. This badge is freaking terrifying to me, though, because what it does is, you know, all those, when you go through a store, like if you were shoplifting or something like that, the little things that like pick up when you like beep when you walk out, this thing is made to set those things off. That like in Vegas,
does it just have all the stickers, or
it has all the? I mean, well, Make It Hacking is here, but it looks like it has cool lighting effects, SAOs, and anti-theft. But it looks like it has the actual anti-theft tags in other electronic components, because I know it will set off things as you walk through. I don't know. Make It Hacking. And let's ask you, since you're here. He'll be 30 seconds delayed, so while we're waiting on his answer, I'm going to click on forward. I gave that one out for free. Oh, at DEFCON 29. Astronaut CTF badge. It looks like this one's more of a visual one than an electronic one. I think this badge, holy cow, did they make that expensive?
Oh, the Black Mage badge is always amazing.
I know they put so much work into this. Like, it's as much as I look at it, $200 is a lot. I have one. The amount of work on this thing is utterly ridiculous, because you have the cool thing is it's a full game. It's not like it makes shiny lights. You can sit there and play with it, and I don't know. I did a whole video on this one, and it's actually sick. Like it's.
I'm usually not. Go ahead,
and I'll jump in.
I was gonna say I'm usually not one to go out and buy badges. This is definitely one I would buy, for sure.
So
Make it
literally,
hacking. Oh, go on, Gator, and then I'll go back to make it hacking.
Was literally jumping in and starting to talk with some other folks that were just trying to get interested in game hacking when we were saying, hey, how do you get started? And this kid's just in high school and he's like, hey, so I've been banned off a couple places at this point. What's your suggestion? Because you're into this whole, you're going to Defcon? I want to go to Defcon. I'm like, come on, let's go. I'm like, so yeah, I'm going to let you borrow the Black Mage badge because you can actually learn how to start editing hex and manipulating games, and you're not going to get kicked offline from either playing with the badge physically or jumping online and using their online editor. So if you don't want to buy the physical badge, they've also made the entire thing accessible online. So great way for folks to get started and learning how to edit.
I will say their online version of the game I was expecting to be awful. It's really good. Like their controls, it was actually easier to work with than the actual badge because you use a keyboard with it. Jumping back to make it hacking, yes, it has two. Click this on up. It has 2 frequency sticker tags to set them off. We set them off in one of the casino malls, and they were so mad. Yeah, this is one of those ones where, like, just like de-authing at a casino, this is not one I would suggest to have on. This seems like a terrible. This whole badge seems like a terrible idea. With all the love and respect in the world.
The idea is fantastic. It's just a bad idea to wear it.
It's so good. It's like the de-auth badge. What was it, from the red team or blue team or whatever village at Church of Wi-Fi, where just all it did was de-auth, and someone walked through the casino and got arrested, and they're like, "Why am I getting arrested?" It's like, because you just knocked half the
that was the creator
offline.
of the badge.
Oh,
I think it was the creator of the badge that did that.
It
turns out you can't de-auth. It turns out you can't de-auth slot machines without getting in trouble with the gaming commission.
Don't do that.
They have an SAO. I believe that's what this is, even though it's, I don't know, it's not listed as an SAO. It's the add-on. It's another one of those SAOs.
That's the artboard.
Is it? Oh, that's the artboard for the back. Which
literally says artboard.
Oh, nail. I have all this. You guys don't see it. I have all this crap on my screen in front of this for the live stream, so I can't read all of it. The artboard's really cool. I actually did buy one of those already. The e-challenge coin, have to call him out. Braden, who one watches the channel, 2, every year he delivers. Junk call. Every year he delivers on this thing, and it's great. Oh, yeah. This year has like a Simon Says type thing, and I always like them because this is a guilty pleasure badge for me because I never had any of them, and then I bought the full range, and there's an online story and all of that. Like these ones. Hacker Mindset. I'm gonna just jump into here and call this one out. This, as much as the badge is cool, and it looks cool, and it has blinky LEDs and has like shiny lights. And it has all the fun things you would expect on a badge to have. It's a mouse emulator. It's a serial console. It can act as a mass storage device. It has a zillion lights. If you're actually just looking for a badge to show off, this is a fun one to have because it's blinky lights. The cool thing is about this one, and it was funny, he had this like hidden way down at the bottom. And I'm like, dude, you can't. It's like the coolest thing of it. Garrett wrote a book, like the one who owns Hacker Warehouse, wrote a book called Hacker Mindset. And this is a way for you to pre-order it now. Since there's no pre-order now. There's no pre-order, like it's not up for Amazon because the thing is still kind of in the editing phase. He wanted to do a pre-order for the book, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And didn't want it just to be like this, like, guys, here's a pre-order, and you don't get anything for like a year type of thing, where this actually gets you something and the pre-order. But like I'll give him credit. It's like a full I think it's a Raspberry Pi. On it, RP 2040, so it's like it can do everything a Raspberry Pi can. So all the USB simulation and things like this. This is one like you should definitely, if you see someone else using it and they say they want to plug it into your computer, you don't want to do that.
So I've always liked his badges too because he's had some really cool ones for the Hacker Warehouse. To where I've got his 2 previous ones that was the box looking one and then the lulz one. So I've always been happy with the Hacker Warehouse folks. So really looking forward to this one then.
I will say, as much as it sounds like, I'm not disparaging it by all means. I'm not a badge life person. I don't buy badges. I have the Defcon badge. That is my badge. But this one, like, I like this one mainly because it gives you everything you want in a badge at Defcon. So it's very like you can see it. It has cool light things, but like I just like the fact that after I come back from con, it's not e-ways sitting on my desk. I get a book with it, which for me is more important than the badge.
Feels more like buying the book and getting the badge as a bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The IR laser game quest. I don't know what this is. I don't know anything about this. Built on the USB Nugget platform.
Okay, that looks like the Nugget dev kit. Yeah.
Looks cool though.
Gotcha.
For a little a little Nugget thing. That's fun.
So this is they've got a couple different builds of this. So the USB Nugget looks like it's got the GPIO, it's got a USB-C port, the GPIO breakout, RGB LED, 4 push buttons, 3D printed enclosure, and a small 128 by 64 display. So the cool thing is that they're actually doing like different workshops on this. If you're going to B-sides right beforehand, there's a kit that you can go through and buy, assemble it, and solder it yourself, or you can buy it directly from them as well. So they've got at least 2 different versions, so watch out depending on if you want the ESP32 based one or if you want the 8266 based version. ESP32 is going to give you more power and give you that Wi-Fi and Bluetooth ability versus the 8266 is just going to be the Wi-Fi side.
Yeah, I will say though, from working with the ESP platform, that like, yeah, you get the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, but as it turns out, you usually get more SRAM and just RAM space in general. But the libraries to run that Wi-Fi and Bluetooth eat up most of that extra RAM you get. So if you think you're just going to be getting more space, you probably aren't once you enable those features.
Yeah, that sounds like that has a history behind it that should definitely be shared. That was the wonderful Darknet badge had a wonderful over-the-air firmware update, which was affected by that. Woo. All right. This. Let me go back. Hold on. There we go. There is the secure. Oh gosh, the secure autonomous surveillance swarm badge. Is it under here? There we go. Swarm badge.
Badge.
Cool. Has LoRa.
Nice.
Wi-Fi interacts, unlock. It looks cool. I always like these ones that look really cool. I mean, that's the purpose of getting a badge. It looks really cool, but then the fact that it has LoRa interaction with it is pretty cool. You've been doing quite a bit with that, haven't you, Gator?
Oh yeah. That's what our badges are based off of for the contest. So we made sure folks could go through and make their own ahead of time. There's going to be a limited amount that we'll have at our booth for the contest for folks who weren't able to custom make their own. But yeah, the LoRa radios are making a pretty big comeback. And I'm excited to see more badges go through and support that. And hopefully we're able to start interacting with more of them. Since it can be long range and have other mesh networking on top of it, I'm sure we're going to see more shenanigans with that in the future for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm pumped because Malortware cold. Wow, I'm like weirdly zoomed in. Hello. Nice. I don't know why do I have like a randomly zoomed in one here? Okay, that is a button I do have. Is the Malortware made me a 3D badge for it. So I'll have like a little 3D printed badge with the Malortware and my handle on it. I'll probably end up doing a video of it, but I am going to be picking up a Darknet badge for that.
Awesome.
Here we go. So let's jump to the next one. This is actually one I might get. This one. And I might be I'm just because I know I've heard some of the stories of these things so long story short is the sneaky badge. I don't even know what the functionality of the badge is, but I'm looking forward to other people who have these because you get like 60 tiles with it, like a Scrabble one. So you can pop out the letters and put in any letters you want to have it spell anything. But then game, from how I understand it, is you're put different words into it, and it the chip recognizes what letters are which, and that's what unlocks the features and how you solve the puzzles in the game.
Cool.
This badge is dope.
Right? It's based off of the Raspberry Pi 2040 as well. It's actually the full dev board soldered there on the front. So as far as like a visual badge with the plugins, and this is a really cool looking badge. Very excited about this one.
All right, this is me showing my ineptitude when it comes to a lot of the hardware. This chip right here, the Raspberry Pi Pico, is the same as this one.
So right now, if you look at where the USB is, right above that
right
chip
here.
right there is the 2040. Yes. So the dev board that's on the other one, they literally just slap the entire dev board on top. Versus the Hacker Mindset badge is just using the 2040 chip itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got this obviously custom made and pick and placed. This one, they either pick and placed the entire dev board or they sat down and they soldered it all together. But all of those, I mean, all of the headers on the side, it looks like they just soldered it out. I'm not sure what the production looks like. But those are all the lanes to the MCU.
I heard that the designer of this badge had, I don't know if it was the letters they soldered or parts of the board. I think it was the letters that they did a lot of the soldering themselves, which is insane when you think about the amount of work. Even if you have to do think about this. If you have 56 of these things per badge, you're talking about like thousands of letters you're going to have to solder.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, these ones weren't. Yeah, you have to get good friends here. So that's a sneaky badge. This one actually looks. I'm just curious what people end up putting letter wise. It's cool that you have a way of personal. These things are a terrible idea. I'm not these ones specifically, but here let me flick out. This whole idea of what the badge life people have been calling the Chamber of Secrets, where you have the Defcon badge and slide this thing in. Because here's the thing: is not only do these have a unique look to them, but like if you made this front part, like think about it this way, get rid of where this one has this square on the end. If you cut that off, I don't think you see my cursor here. If you cut that off, this and then just put a straight piece there, what does it look like?
Oh, totally looks like a knife, bro.
Yeah. And I've seen some of those ones come out, and like that's one of those things is people are going to be walking around here like, let me stick this in your badge. Like this is going to be, there's that. And then, do you have one, Gator? Did you just hold up?
We went through and did the 3D printing side of the house to where, you can get the chamber. Found out that the bumped side, if you actually look at it this way, this side is actually the front going to be the display window versus I always thought that the flat side was going to be the display. So fun fact is that while you have a whole bunch of these that folks are able to go through and make and while you have the other normal badges, people have been making shards to go through and plug into the badge for Defcon official. Part of the Darknet contest is actually 3D designing your own as well, to where you can customize it and plug it into the badge. So yeah, the whole knife idea, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be other ones, including from our favorite like Scav Hunt or whatever else on what actually gets plugged in.
I have a bad feeling that there's going to be a lot of hotel and casino security that are not going to be okay with the general design of this. That's my gut feeling. I feel like we're going to hear stories of people being harassed because either rightfully or not rightfully as a result of the design and general shape of these things.
Gator, something you said is the flats. So it holds in, it will sit into the badge. How?
So my understanding, because I ended up asking the badge makers, I ended up reaching out to like the official folks who made the badge, and my understanding is that the flat side is going to actually be sitting towards your chest, and then there's going to be some type of angle with it to where you're plugging it in this way. So if you want to make something and customize it, you have to do it in like this orientation, where the pointy side is going to be pointing down, then your name or whatever customization. Other folks have been making it to where you can plug it in like this and be able to have something vertically down, but we have no idea what the actual angle is for the official Defcon badge.
What's interesting is looking at these ones. Doesn't that mean these ones are backwards?
So, okay, that depends on where you're going through and looking at it here. If this is pointing forward here, flip that again for me. Unless the pictures got flipped.
Upside down.
Or no, then I'm wrong, because these guys have gone through. Maybe my orientation of the camera was flipped, because this should be correct. The orientation should be what it was seen in the pictures. Right, exactly.
Okay, so make it hacking. So like these ones, I would hope the person who's selling them, and I actually,
exactly, right?
Let's go to the videotape. Who would know this? Make it hacking. Exactly. Whose badges are the ones we're looking at? I think he probably knows. These are cool. The cool thing about this is they designed it in a way where the battery fits. And this is the again. I'm gonna gush at Make It Hacking because this is what I would come to expect with Make It Hacking. Building stuff, which is very fun and very usable, that they're editable and you can put your own phrase in this, and it makes it like, I know, it's not just like I'm going to stick it in there and it's going to sit there. I'm going to have a way of like interacting with it. So I like
actually
this.
Interacting with it. And the fact is that the battery pumps out towards the front. So if you're looking at the main badge again, if you go back one more time. So once you plug the badge into the actual Defcon badge, the bump is going to be towards the people. So that's the clear or translucent side to this. So that's where the battery is sitting here in the front with the bump versus the flat side is going to be towards our chest is what it comes down to. So absolutely Make It Hacking. Got to had it right.
What I'm hearing about is when you hold it towards you, the angle and the bump is what you have to worry about. Like that should be your main focus.
Right. That should be the front.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Silk. Phrasing, buddy.
Just want to make sure that we all heard that. I like this. Yeah. I like the other one I like with Make It Hacking is that just an ability to put SAO ports on there because it's funny. SAO ports I think is such a cool way for I will say beginners to come up with new ideas. Obviously veterans as well. But new ideas, because that's usually an easy stepping point. You worry about power and you worry about an LED, and then usually it goes into the design of the board.
And cost, you could just like break out a breadboard and make one if you wanted.
Really easily.
I like the DC801 one I've seen. And I just think this one's solid. I think it's really cool. The Pampoozle.
You're not sharing your screen
too. Helps my click. There we go. Nailed it. We're here. We're good. Right here. So like these are the SAOs, like a lot of straightforward ones. The DC801 I love because these little fire things he's holding light up. That's where the LEDs are. I'm just always interested in what people come up with.
I need to find a better way to be able to display my SAOs too, because you've got a whole bunch of them. You need to get power to them. So I'll be working on that after I get back from DEF CON to like mount them on the wall to where I can click a big old button and light them up.
One giant breadboard and wire it up.
Right?
This totally reminds me of Command Code's badge. Where he just all it was bright LEDs. He found the brightest LEDs you could find on the planet and then filled up like 100 of them on one board. And it was the sun. The funny part is I want to see if I can make one or ask him where he got the parts, because it would be perfect for like illuminating someone for video. Like, so it'd be like my little video one, like, okay, cool. Like click. And then you'd actually have like a little bit of light.
Love it.
All right. Back to these ones. I think the rest are just like pins, which again, pins I'm always happy to throw in my bag. Definitely. The floppy stick is actually very cool.
One of the tips on here, though, is I want to make sure that they get the locking ones for the back so that you don't lose them. Because it was a sad day when I lost a couple of my previous pins because I didn't have the interlocking or back lock on the devices.
Is this a callback to the OG? No, go back to that.
There we go. I'm
keys. Good. No, the keys.
Oh, the keys there.
Yeah. Is this a callback to one of the original like RPGs? I forget, not RPG, but there was I can't remember the game that you had to go get all 4 keys and then come back to the beginning to beat the game. I wonder if that's a callback to that.
Oh gosh, it wasn't Zelda. What one was that?
No.
Oh, that's horrible.
Anyway, I like the design of this. This is cool.
These actually are patches. Here we go. Free advertisement for Hacker Warehouse. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. He came out with the Paragon gear stuff. This thing. Oh gosh, it's just like it's randomly zoomed in. Here we go. And then this one has you guys up there, right there, in case you're wondering. He had the Paragon gear bag, which he made. So his idea is that you can have like all your wireless stuff in here, and then you can put your your RFID cloning stuff, and then you get one of the RFID patches to go on the side, and then it like sticks in your thing like a book. So you'd have like Wi-Fi, HID, RF, and then all this stuff is kind of sorted, and it's like, oh, I need this, and you just pop it out. It was fun.
And it's bigger than I expected.
Garrett always, it's always interesting because between like writing a book and Paragon Gear and Hacker Warehouse, he's always how he does it all. Like, that's just like one of those things. Is how is it that you do these things? And
Right.
that I think that covers that sheet. If I can get out of that, yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
So it covers. That's not all the badges. Again, there is just a metric ton of these things. There's like 50 of them. Honorable callouts, always the DC groups. 801, always cool stuff. But then there's there's the X and OR badge. I don't know if they're doing a new one because they've had that same one for a while. Oh, they did a new one?
They absolutely did a new one. They went through and had folks to be able to get the pre-order, that they got the shiny plates and such. Looks really sick this year. But I know that they're also giving a handful away. So if you're interested in getting one of the Index OR, you got to follow them on Twitter to be able to go pick any of those up.
My guess is they have their vending machine too, where if you do their bypass.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Defcon furs. I know you've called that one out. Obviously, there's Darknet in there, which are obviously beautiful.
Yeah. So let's talk Darknet for a minute, because we haven't really talked Darknet on the stream in quite some time. Gator,
It's been a hot minute.
what is going on with Darknet this year?
So we're back as a contest. Yeah, so we're back as a contest. This year we did go through and make a new badge, which has kind of been fun. So Digital and I are running the contest this year. We've got a couple other folks volunteering at the booths and helping us out, creating quests, being able to give back to the community, all new content. So as previous years have gone on, we've gone through and usually recycled some of them and then added some new. This year's been all new. So there's already been what we call the case file, which is getting people ready for DEF CON. If they've never been before, or if they need to get those hacker juices flowing again, get reminded of what they need to be looking at for a CTF. We've gone through and been running that for the last 2 weeks now. So we've got like 175 players current, checking last night, over about 100 quests currently, to where, hey, here's how to get started with X, Y, or Z. Anything from a little bit of cryptography going on, a little bit of OSINT going on. And this year for the badge wise, we actually went through and had folks go through and be able to go buy their own components. So if I turn this thing on, we're actually running the Meshtastic software on the badge. So it's already an open source, awesome community and program. So you don't need Wi-Fi. Oop, go ahead.
What does that do?
Meshtastic
for not hearing Meshtastic.
Meshtastic, it goes through and is a device to device mesh networking. So you don't need infrastructure like your cell phone signal or Wi-Fi to be able to message badge from badge. So say something were to happen to the grid, or you're offline, you're hiking, you can actually use any Meshtastic device to text each other and or turn on GPS location so you can see where each other are at, which works out pretty well. And it goes in line with the whole book series that we based the contest off of. But the hardware-wise is just a TT Go LoRa board based off of an ESP32. And folks are able to go through and plug it in via micro USB and flash it with whether it's Meshtastic or like another RTOS operating system. So you can use the badge for other things afterwards. Getting folks used to flashing the badge has been fairly easy, to where we've made videos that walk you through each step, whether you're Mac, Windows, Linux of a couple different sorts. And then having people go through and 3D print their own badges. So we taught them how to start using CAD, like Tinkercad, that's for free. Getting the basics of 3D printing, and then we have them go step by step to make their entire badge. It's pretty simple, but then between 3D printing, using a CAD software to be able to customize their own badges, we've also got other things like the ability for you to add like a full mechanical key, so you can pop out this skill badge and you're popping like a mechanical key, or create your own custom skill badge and then put other electronics into it as well. So it's been very hands-on, very makery this year. So folks could have got their badges up to like a month and a half ago at this point, got all the components in. So we encouraged folks to do it. And if you haven't seen them either posted on Twitter, or go into our Discord, there has been some amazing remixes going on. Anywhere from, while I'm taking like my badge apart fairly easily, other folks who've gone through and retrofit to where you've got a screw system to where you can actually lock on the front and the back, or a slide-in system, or other folks doing like a transparent case and then doing LED light up like the Cylon going back and forth. It's been absolutely amazing to see people's different designs.
Here's the Malortware one. I'll toss it up into the top screen. That's the Malortware one they're printing for me, which I'm just like pumped. Like, this will be really funny. And anyone who has not, whether you drink or not, Malortware, Malort is an interesting experience for anyone, for everyone involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So beyond just the badge, what else is going on with Darknet this year? I know the case file's up, right? And
case file's up, so anybody can go play that up to literally when Defcon starts. So if you wanted to be able to dip your big toe into like CTFs, some of it is Jeopardy style questioning. Some of it you actually got to go do a task and then prove it. And we're gonna have the same thing at Defcon proper. So there's gonna be a bunch of different tasks. We have a storyline that we're actually bringing back out of retirement, which has been great, where we can go through and say, hey, we're having to go and rebuild this entity that we've built in the storylines. There's an entire lore tab. Go check it out. But building back from basic. And we're going to be focusing more on like data forensics. We're going to be focusing on how to get started with securing your systems from ground up, a little bit of sysadmin work, and then being able to go deeper from there. So all the old characters that you know and love, whether it's March Hare, Mad Hatter, Biz, Cyberez, these are all folks that we're actually able to bring back in the storyline this year, and getting kind of pumped to see how folks are going to interact with it since it's all new content.
That's really awesome. Cool. New boss quest this year?
Oh, always a new boss quest. So for folks who've not gone through and played, usually up on Sunday, the last couple hours of the on Sunday before the contest shuts down, before closing ceremonies, we've now dubbed that the community working together, which is called the boss quest, to where you've got to take all the skills that you've gone through and learned from Friday, Saturday, and work together with the community on Sunday to beat the boss battle. And it's different every single year.
Wait,
so
Sunday is when it's happening? Because typically
Sundays. I know. In the past,
Sunday.
We went through and did it like super late on Saturday. It was always done by 9 p.m. But we decided, hey, let's make sure that we've got it as a window, and we're doing it. It gives people plenty of time to actually recover the night before and prepare for the last couple hours for that push for Sunday, because it's only open on Sunday from 10 to noon because contest shuts down right thereafter. So super excited to be able to jump in and see all the agents come and play both in person and online. And it's great because it's for any age group as well.
Question from chat. Hey guys, first time at Defcon and Black Hat. I'm an international student too. How much cash should I carry? I know the badge is $440. Okay. Every time I see $440 for the badge, I'm always just floored because back in my day, I remember when it was like $150 and $100. I think the first time I bought one, it was like $120. So it's just like, it's so weird to see that amount.
It is. It's so a minimum of the badge coverage because you need that cash. I would also suggest when you're going to go through and buy like shirts, hats, and flags, if you're looking for similar prices on that, go to Defcon's swag site and see the prices there, because ranges for shirts go from like $15 to $35, depending on if you want other special patches or coins. So obviously badge coverage, so $440 plus. I'm going to say at least $50 for your swag because it's exclusive. Once you get to the vendors later on that are open up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, most of them will take cash or debit or credit card. So
almost everyone
don't
takes
use a debit
card.
Don't ever use a debit card.
Don't ever use a debit
just
card.
Don't bring your debit card to DEF CON. That's nonsense.
Or
real
anywhere.
Quick,
Anywhere for that matter.
Yeah.
Debit cards
misinformation time.
Dumb.
Misinformation time. I thought for the badge they started accepting card. Is that not the case?
So, preemptively, if you're buying your badge ahead of time, yes, you could buy it. And it was also $460 instead of $440. You would already be emailed the tag with saying, okay, here's what's paid for, here's your QR code, here's your reservation number. But they cut those off a month ahead of time. So if you've not already pre-purchased it, you can't buy it via debit or credit card. So, or I'll just say plastic. Okay. So now if you want to be able to go in the future and say, hey, you want to buy your badge for next year, you can usually do that for like 9 months out of the year, but that month before was the cutoff.
Yeah, I would say for how much cash to bring, the thing I'll throw out there is enough for your badge. Almost everyone takes credit card at this point. Like almost everyone. If there's, I don't know if Defcon swag line does. I think they do now. They don't for sure.
I don't think so. Now,
Okay.
I've always only seen it as cash. So unless I'm completely wrong, I've only seen it.
The only reason, like, you don't want to carry a lot of cash, but it's also, it's a safe place to carry cash. Everyone in Vegas is carrying cash. You're in the casino, assuming you're not addicted to gambling where you can't get to the thing and like just the drop down cash. Like, it's okay to carry cash on you. Like the kicker though is if you run out of cash, it absolutely is abysmal getting more out, because every ATM is legitimately like a $12 fee to pull cash out. And
it's insane.
It's nuts. So bring enough cash, but it's I would say relatively safe to have it on you and keep it in your hotel room and things like that. Like I'll put it this way, I've never had an issue with cash being stolen.
Yep.
Merch is cash only. Thank you, Daniel, and Gator on that one. Any other questions anyone has on that before we keep talking? I mean, the truth is, like, I don't know, like what the prep I do for DEF CON at this point is more like camera and video and mic and all of that related. I think though, like the last time, let's say I went where I wasn't gooning or anything like that, I brought a laptop because I knew I was competing in Darknet or I was helping run it. So it was like a laptop, a couple $100 worth of cash since the black badge let me in. Yep. Outside of that, there was no like essential items. The things which I added or removed were kind of like, we'll say essential but superfluous items. Things like earplugs, which Gourry gave me a great recommendation for earplugs called ear erasers, which I've gotten in and they actually are really nice. Things like a water bottle is important. This year, because of nasal surgery and whatnot, that bacitracin stuff to keep your nose like nice and moist, so you can, so your nose and you don't get like a nosebleed, because like Vegas is a wonderful place for anyone who has like
baby powder.
Dry nose. You do baby powder, but I mean, like a lot of like those weird items which you don't think about. Instant coffee, which like stuff like that is always super nice to have. Gator, what were you gonna say?
Fisherman's Wharf throat lozenges too, because if you're talking as much as most for us booth workers, we're always talking constantly. So if you're going to be one of those positions that you're talking all the time to a lot of people and repeating the same thing again and again, it's worth going and get the Fisherman's Wharf. They've got a couple different flavors. And you can pick that up at like the CVS down the street. I remembered early this year, so I just bought a like 6-pack of it, and it's getting shipped to my house. So then I just stashed that in there. I think if you're rooming, another funny one would be poopery. Just because if you're rooming with somebody else and you're not got your own room, just do everybody a favor, because if you're using the same bathroom, man, it makes everybody's trip more pleasant.
Every time I hear this, I always think to myself, like, what are you eating in Vegas to elicit? Seriously. I need to bring a specific item for when I do my business. Like,
we're talking about weird things.
The real question I have is, what are you eating in Vegas that doesn't stop you up for 4 days? Because everything in Vegas stops me up.
Yeah.
Like the most important thing I actually bring, and I bring in copious amounts of, is the hand sanitizer. I'll have a bunch of those, because you're always meeting people. You're shaking hands, you're high fiving, you're fist bumping, or whatever. And for me, I know like I want it. Like I have an itch on my face. I want to touch it, and where it's like my hands are dead to me because I've touched like everyone, and like in every doorknob and everything like that. It's like, so like things like that makes me how effective it is for how much you touch there is probably up to question, but I do use copious amounts of that.
Let's field this question by Fahad. So I'm a cybersecurity student, and I'm wondering how I can optimize my time at DEF CON to get the most out of it and improve my cybersecurity skills. Note, I'm interested in web app security, not hardware. I'm going to take a weird approach to this and say, if that's so, the attitude you're bringing to DEF CON is great, but don't necessarily feel like you are going to quote unquote improve your cybersecurity skills in a weekend, right? What you should use Defcon to do is broaden your horizons, because everything hacking is there for a weekend, right? So don't just so yes, you're interested in web app security. There's a variety of villages and presumably contests that you can engage in that are along that route, but there's going to be a huge, like, vast array of things that you can do. And if this is, did you say it's your first time going? If this is your first time going, go do as much as you can. Just get a taste of a little bit of everything, because you may be interested in web app security today, but you may stumble upon some random, you may pick up a badge that gets you hardware hacking in some sense. You may find that you love that even more than you love web app security. So don't just hyper focus on one thing, or even hyper focus on quote unquote getting better in a weekend. That's not really how you get better at things. It's dedicated over long term. You go there to broaden your horizons as to what is possible in the cybersecurity realm, see what people have hacked, see what's going on, and have fun, to be honest. So that's the way I would approach it, to quote unquote optimize your experience, because as Silk and I will say many, many times over, DEFCON's too damn big. So if you go to try and optimize your experience and see as much as possible, you're going to feel like you wasted your conference running around rather than engaging in one or two or three things. So find something that you like, engage in it. If you don't like it, move on to the next thing, because there's so much to do.
Yeah, there's to double down on that. There's I'm just like so zoomed in. I have no idea how to fix that, so I'm gonna just throw you guys like up there. There so much. He said it so well. There's so much to look at. I've always used the phrase, be selfish with your time. If you're not having fun with something, move on. And I think you won't be able to see the whole conference. And it's not like it's huge. That's a bad thing. It's huge. There is so much to do everywhere all the time. And it's funny. Someone asked another question. I'm going to ask this one, which was, that was volunteering. So this one kind of ties these both together. Let me toss that one up on screen. Oh, it's like here. There we go. Bam, bam. There we go. I know how to run a stream. Also, what is your take on volunteering at DEF CON? I'm currently signed up volunteering at AppSec, physical security, crypto villages, and it went away, which takes up almost all of my days. Is this a good idea? So this ties into the answer I was going to give for both of these. In hindsight, I used the phrase, I've done DEF CON wrong. I have been going to DEF CON a very long time, blah, blah, all of that thing. When I first started going to DEF CON, I went like this, and I put blinders on, and I said, I'm going for the talks. I'm going for the talks, and I did talk after talk after talk after talk. For like 2 years, I did nothing but talks. It was back in the Riviera. There was Sky Talks, and what I did is the hardware hacking village was up on the second floor, and if you weaseled your way back through the hardware hacking village, there was a balcony overlooking track 1. And DEF CON had gotten so big at that point, everyone would go to a talk, and then they have to clear the room and let other people in. You could circumvent this by just going up through the hardware hacking village and sitting in a balcony, and you'd catch every talk without ever sitting in a line. Again, these little hacks that you learn, which no one else can repeat. I have actually one I'll have to add later, but point being is, I just did talk after talk after talk. Did it for 2 years. And then the third year was when Darknet, it wasn't Darknet, it was after that. It was Hack Fortress, I think it was, which was hacking your Halo. And it got me playing with the contests. And I was like, oh my gosh, why would I ever go to a talk? It was all around that. At this point, every talk is recorded. Almost every talk is recorded. But I can't do Hack Fortress outside of DEF CON. It's the only time to do it. And that was the most fun I've ever had at the conference. So I stopped going to talks, and I said, okay, I'm going to just do contests. I did contest after contest after contest. And then it was fun. But at a certain point I go, okay, wait, I'm not meeting anyone. Darknet comes along, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this contest was designed for me. It felt like I got to meet people. I got to interact with people. I had challenges from all over the side to expand my mind, because it wasn't just web security or network security. I had to learn hardware and I had to learn signal mapping and all of this other stuff where I go, it's not in my area of expertise, but it built out that muscle of hacker mindset of thinking outside the box for all of these things. And Gourry said this right on, is like, getting exposure to these other things makes you better at your vertical because it makes you think even more out of the box. You're like, great, I'm web app. Okay, cool. At a certain point, though, like if I can get on the software of the network switch, set up a spanning port and cipher data off that way and look at it that way, I might have a better, either way. Point being is, I then got to the point of doing that and then community. This is where it ties back to staffing. At a certain point, Command Code came to me and effectively said, stop winning our competition, you douche. How about you join the team and help us run it? And I said, that sounds great. I mean, it wasn't that. He effectively said this. He was, what are you doing? And I effectively said, point me anywhere else in Defcon that I'll have more fun than this competition. You bring up a good point. How about you join the team? So it was like, bam. And you guys are awesome. So I was like, of course I'm going to do that. But this is where then staffing came in, and staffing consumes your whole con. If you do,
it does.
Like I'm staring at other villages, but like we got to the point in Darknet, and then like, here's like the back room conversation. All Defcon or Darknet at that point is like what? 20 people, 18 people.
We were up to like 27, 28 people. It was a lot.
It was basically a company, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't quite operating that way because, no one was getting paid. It was all volunteer, all of those things. But it got to such a large production that people were starting to burn out. And when I say burn out, I mean like you guys would get to see 3 days, and you're saying like, oh, it consumes my whole con. It was consuming a quarter of my year, right? Like I was doing, when I was writing the software for the badge, it's not like I know what I was doing. I was picking up a brand new operating system, learning to do operating system level. Like we had buffer overflows in the Bluetooth driver because there was so much traffic at DEF CON we couldn't figure out why. And so the next year I had to go digging into that driver to find out that there was just an array that would grow forever. And so I had to fix that at the real-time operating system level, right? And I had to put some hacks in to make that work. And so like, This is like days upon days upon days of debugging in the background that no one at the con ever sees. They just get the badge, they operate with it. And so like, yes, it can absolutely consume your entire time at the con. But once you start engaging with the con, I'm saying this like it's a negative. Once you start engaging with the con as a volunteer and helping to run things, it starts to take over portions of the rest of your year as you prep to go and do things that you want to teach other people, and it starts to build. And honestly, that's the point at which you're going to find the best connections at the con you will ever make, and you will find more we'll say joy in your work outside of the conference as well, because you are, like, most of the people operating at the con are doing it because they want to, not because they're getting paid, not because of any of those things, which means that everything that's being presented is something they wanted to show you, right? Yep. So when you give up your time for the con, be jealous of your time and choose to do it for reasons that you are actually make you excited. So I'm not going to say it's not a waste of your con to go volunteer. Obviously, Silk and I are goons, right? Like we're helping them. I mean, we're photo goons, so we run around taking pictures, but that gives some people joy. That's nice. So I'm not going to say don't do it, because it was one of the most fulfilling experiences of engaging with the conference at all. And I actually hate playing CTF. I never played Darknet as a player. I literally showed up and said, "What's this? Cool, I'll be staff." And then I just started working at the booth. And then these people were like, "Oh yeah, that's Gourry. I don't know where he came from, but he's cool."
So funny. I mean, like, part of me got to that point of like, in competing, like it was like black badge. It's like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like, I hit, again, 2 of them are from GurCon, one's from DEF CON, and then that's either way, the other either way, stop there. it hit that point of like you get diminishing returns every time you shift to do something. You go to the talks, you start getting diminishing returns. You go to contests, you get diminishing returns. You do run a contest, diminishing returns, and then you at this point, it has. I feel like it's taken me 10 plus years to finally find, we'll say, the niche at Defcon. I have a blast, and who knows, that might change, but like. Legitimately, I get to spend my entire conference running around with Gourry, pretending we have a clue on what we're doing and share it with you guys. And you guys see it in all the idiocy that it is, like having no idea what we're doing and then thinking the things that we think are important are not important at all. But like that is the niche that has been cut out that we've done and enjoy. But after finding this, I could never go back to going to talks or going to villages or barely competing. Like I compete in Hack Fortress just because I legitimately love the team that runs it. Scav Hunt. I've never done Scav Hunt before. This is like one of those tips that every single person should do. Go find the list, find one item. I'm doing that this year. Never done it before. But my point of like running the contests and all of that, like whether you're running or staffing or whatever, like continually, I would say rotate through until you find that niche where you're like, yeah, this is mine. This is the piece of con that I can hold and I can grow and make better and like make awesome. And then other people find that awesome with you. Like it's just, I love Defcon. I just love Defcon. It comes around once a year. It gets here before I realize it and just freaking fantastic.
So to your point, and then I'll also tie in the next question that we've got here in chat as well. By volunteering your time is great to be able to give back to the community. Know what you're also trying to get out of it for yourself as well. If you're going there to try to network with folks, make sure that you've got that goal because you don't want to get to the point where you do burn out. And knowing that the level amount of how much of a people person am I, or how much do I want to interact with people, and knowing which roles are going to have that versus if there's more backroom roles also ties into the question with the what's your recommendation for people dealing with social anxiety, but they want to get the most out of Defcon? One of the things that I can absolutely say is that we're all there to be at the largest hacking convention in the world. You can have literally no other connections with anybody else at the conference, and everybody's there willing to go learn something new, to get exposed to something new, and interact with the community. So if nothing else, you have this one tying point where your social anxiety, I can't say that you're going to be able to completely shove that any place or medicate it or do whatever else. Interact with the one area that you know everybody is there for, which is the awesome part. We're there to go learn. We're there to go teach, and we're there to go get exposed to new things.
I gotta say one thing, which is there's furries walking around. No one's staring at you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest, and honestly, FurCon's like the best. So.
Yep.
Gourry shared this perfect image, and I need to throw it out, which is like, this describes us at con. Ooh, neat. Neat. It's funny. It's like the social anxiety thing, and this is like one of those weird things. I would say probably the biggest thing that has like grown me more than anything else at Defcon is Gourry. Did you freeze, by the way? No, you didn't. All right. The biggest thing that I would say has grown me at Defcon is doing video, because I assume, like, I have this assumption that, like, oh gosh, zoomed in again. I have this assumption that, like, the moment we do video, like, oh my gosh, like everyone is staring at me, and like, oh my gosh, and there's like 20 people watch the videos. Like, legitimately, no one. I don't mean this in a mean way. I just like, it's not and you build it up in your mind. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so nuts. And then you do it, and you're like, that wasn't that bad. And then you do another, and you do another, and do another. And like, my highlight of Defcon last year was like, we were doing a video for Scav Hunt, and I don't know what her name was. It just walked up and was like, hey, are you Silk? Because the wonderful, not jerks, wonderful people at Scav Hunt put me on the list, and it was like, go ask Silk, or go explain to Silk while Rayon is better. And we're like halfway through a video, and she just walks up and just starts explaining to me. And it was funny because like someone in the comments was like, what a jerk. She just walked up. I'm like, no. This was incredible because this turned in what was going to be like a boring story of like, here is the scav hunt to like, here is the experience of scav hunt. This was the feeling you get of scav hunt, of someone just walking up to you and be like, see, Rayon has all these extra qualities. First, it's more water wicking. Like she had a whole list of why Rayon was better. And I'm just sitting here going like, every moment of this I love. Like,
why do people
awesome.
keep explaining Rayon to me? I don't understand.
I just love scav hunt. Scav hunt. Like, go on. I have one more thing I was going to add, and then I'll go back to you, which is just effectively like I think that was the thing I want to capture the essence of this year with any video that we do is less of here is a thing at Defcon, and here is the experience which we have at Defcon, and it's like things like let's go find something on the scav hunt table. I've never done videos like this. I have no idea. I have Gourry to very much like help me get this like idea, which is like, how do we show an experience of DEFCON? But that is the goal. Gourry?
I was just going to say on the social anxiety side, like, I don't know if you watch the stream, I'm very personable on stream, but if you get me in person or in front of a camera or at the con, unless I'm engaging with you on like a contest or teaching you something specifically, as soon as we broach into the like I have to be personable on camera in the moment with people present, nah man, I clam up. Like I can't do it. Silk's got the silver tongue in that sense, but like I'm always in the background quipping jokes after and and stuff like that. But I still do it. Like I'll say this, if you're afraid of it, that's a reason to do it. Because there's no real risk. That's what I've learned over the years. The risk is you make a fool of yourself and no one remembers because there's 30,000 people at DEFCON. Like,
keep in mind, there are people walking around in furry costumes.
Correct.
Like,
right?
How can... No, as their fursona. Let's be inclusive here.
I'm sorry. That one's on me. I can't help but think, just like when we're talking about social anxiety and whatnot, I think like one of the things I had to recognize was I always had it in my mind of I hate small talk. Like I hate everything about this interaction with people initially, to realize that like small talk leads to big talk. And at DEFCON, usually it's that small talk with people, which leads to the big talk, the interesting pieces. Now, one thing I love about DEFCON is all of us we're at DEFCON. You're weird enough to be at DEFCON, so we have that in common, which can start those conversations and drop in. And the three things usually I keep those initial conversations to is like, what is the last cool thing that you like? What excites you? What's that thing excites you? And then like the second one is like, what's a thing that's bummed you out recently? I mean, it's not just be like, not everything can be awesome, but like, what is something cool you've worked on? What is something that's bummed you out? And then what do you find fascinating? And if they're at DEFCON, they're fascinating. And what's something cool? What's something that bummed you out? And what do you find fascinating? And then at DEFCON, it is always the appropriate way to say, how long have you been coming to DEFCON, and not, is this your first DEFCON? Because if you ask someone, is this your first DEFCON, is the most awkward thing, which ends the conversation. Be like, I have been coming here for 20 years. Or going up to somebody like, I was at the first DEFCON. So that is always one of the most interesting questions. How long have you been coming to DEFCON? And that DEFCON opens up stories like, what's your favorite story at DEFCON? What was like, and you're here like about Pool 2 or stuff like that, which you never want to hear again, but you have those things.
Video idea. Just walking up to random people who we know have been coming to DEFCON for 20 plus years and asking them if it's their first DEFCON.
Live reaction, right?
I like this idea. Oh gosh. We are like, what's the countdown? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We are five days out. I'm pumped. I am getting excited because I don't have to bring live streaming with us. Maybe we do it from a phone, but like
I am going to take a selfie.
That was the biggest like thing, which I was like, that was a terrible idea. Like looking back, live streaming at the con was terrible idea.
And,
like,
yeah, but you know what? We learned a lot. We learned a lot of things that we didn't like.
I know,
right?
It was like,
well, you know what?
It made so much sense. Oh, go on.
No, that's a great point. So when we were talking about our folks here and saying, well, they didn't want to go do more hardware hacking or lockpicking because they found out their first year that wasn't for them. Trying something and then finding out you don't like it or it didn't work out, just like what you guys did with video live streaming last year, that's okay. That's exactly what you're there to go do at the con, right?
I mean, I loved live streaming, but like legitimately, I felt like I was about to have a panic attack for the amount of equipment. Like seeing my bag just getting shoved all over the place and then like sitting out in the Vegas heat. And I'm like, we do have to do live streaming. I need a Rodecaster Pro. I need a mic. I need XLR cables. I need the connection from that. I need capture cards. Like all of this crap just to go, I need a light because it's so dark in there. So I'm like, I don't know how we ever thought this was a good idea. This year though, like as minimal as I can, I have my photo camera with my one giant huge lens. I have my video camera. We'll have the gimbal, which is Gourry's carrying around.
Silk, you're giving us too much credit. We don't think our ideas are good ideas or bad ideas. We just have them and do. And then afterwards, we're like, that was an awful idea. Just like me and Gulo shaving a urinal cake. We're like, this is a fantastic idea until everyone was pissed at us. And then we were like, that was a fantastic idea.
Right.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. With that, Gator, what do you got for closing thoughts here?
I mean, so as of time of recording, live streaming, we're 5 days, 23 hours, 29 minutes, and 8 seconds away. I don't know about y'all. I'm still not ready, but that's okay. We're going to get things done in time, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody that I've been missing out seeing in this last year, and make sure when you're there in Vegas to go love your hacker family.
I'm going to need so much coffee this year.
Oh, gosh. But you know what? I have the weirdest sensation is that this year I'm not rooming by myself. I'm not by myself this year in my hotel room. I have the fuzzy little man Peach below me who is going to be rooming with me, and that I am weirdly excited about.
The term you're looking for is cuddle buddy.
Cuddle buddy. I'm pumped. I think this year, every year I say this, I'm pumped more than any other year. Because this year is yet another new year and another year to like find out what works, what doesn't work. Scav Hunt, I'm coming for you. I'm finding one item. I'm doing it. I'm turning it in. I'm getting my name on the board. Cameron, you mentioned Hacker Tracker. I'll shout it out. Everyone should have that on your phone. It's just a great app with the maps and everything else you need at Defcon. It's not an official app. It's cool. With that, I'm going to see you. If you see Gourry, myself, Gator at the con, please feel free to stop us. I don't even care if I'm in the middle of a video. Please say hi. We'll just cut in right in the video. If you don't want to be in the video, I don't care. Still come say hi. Love to see you all. Love all of your faces. We will see you soon with more content of DEF CON. Thanks for watching and hack on.